Hey everybody, Ian from ianarthurs.com here with another video for you. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So we as human beings, we really like instant gratification. And I'm a huge fan of that both as a teacher and as a student. Anytime you can learn something that you can put in your playing right away, that's the goal. That's what we're looking for. And learning things in really small pieces is how you do that. I'm going to show you two things today that are kind of what I think are secret ingredients into good blues playing. If you want to know what separates kind of the pro sound from the amateur sound, this is going to be kind of on that track right here. So I'm going to first show you a single note that we're going to add in. If you're a pentatonic player over a 12-bar blues, this is perfect for you. So we're going to start with, let's use the key of A. So if we have a 12-bar blues in A, we're going to be using A7. We're going to use D7 and E7, right? I'm using a D9 chord and an E9 chord just because I like the variations and how they sound and how they feel on the guitar. So A7, D9, E9. So in that key, we're going to throw in the sixth of the scale. In the key of A, that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's F sharp is that note. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. And we're specifically going to put it in an octave higher than that. It works here as well on the D string, that's great, but this is the one on the B string that I really want you to work into your playing because it's in position of your A minor pentatonic scale. So if you're already playing that way, it's really easy to throw in. And it sounds really good for the one chord where it's, you know, essentially the 13th of the scale, meaning it's the octave higher than the 6th. So we've got a good note there. It's not a chord tone, but it's a nice sounding note. Over the D7 chord, it's the 3rd. So it's the major 3rd. That is one of the notes that gives it the definition of the chord. So that's a really important note. What we try to do when we're soloing is play the notes of the chords, essentially. And that note, that's a note of your chord. That's F sharp, the major 3rd of D7. And then when we're on the E chord, and like I said, I'm playing E9 is my shape I'm using here. That's the 9th. So E9, I've got my 9th, which is F sharp. So it works really well over all three chords. You can play it at any time during the blues progression. It's not bad ever. It might not be the best landing tone over certain times, but you're going to use your ears and hear when that works, and when it doesn't, you'll figure that out pretty quickly. And then we're going to show you one other thing here. Aside from throwing that in, you're also going to use it for what I think is one of the most underrated bends you can do. When people learn how to bend, they usually learn about doing a whole step bend. And that makes sense because that's a good way to start. You should start that way. But the typical pentatonic bends of bending from D to E, for instance, bending from G to A, and bending from C to D, there's another one that's really simple we can throw in, and that's bending F sharp up to G. It's only a half step. So instead of bending a whole step all the time for every bend you do, add in a half step bend. Sounds so good. I love that note. When you bend F sharp up a half step, that note you land on is G. And look at that note. You can see it in your pentatonic scale. You can see it right there. That's the flat 7th of your A7 chord. So in A7 you have A, C sharp, E, and G. And then there's the octave of G. So that's your flat 7th there as well. Bending up a half step. Just sounds so interesting. It's so moody. It's so different, I think, when you're playing over a 12-bar blues. So it's not hard, quite frankly. It's just knowing it's there and using it. So once again, to recap, if you're a pentatonic player, start throwing in F sharp to your soloing during a 12-bar blues. Once again, I'm using the key of A. So use F sharp, that sixth, and start to bend it up a half step from F sharp to G. And it just sounds so good. I think it's really a nice note and gives a different angle that if people are mostly pentatonic players again, they're not going to use that. So you'll instantly separate yourself from everybody else that's not playing that way. You kind of gain an identity by doing that. So I really hope you like this tip. I think it's so simple and so quick to throw in, so I love this kind of stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one, I hope. All right.